Okay, let's take a look at course information first. So I'm going to walk you through what this course is about, what I'm going to teach, what are the requirements, and everything. Okay? All right. Just give me a second. Slow. Okay, there we go. Course information. Now, let me very brief introduction here. Okay, we'll go a little bit more depth later on, but traditional microeconometrics is the discipline of doing data analysis specifically for the purpose of applications in microeconomic research. Okay, so applications in empirical microeconomics is what traditional microeconometrics is about. But traditional microeconometrics is typically taught in a pretty narrow way, okay, involving only specific methods that economists have developed specifically for microeconomic applications. What I'm going to do in this course is I'm going to broaden it. Okay, I'm going to include more stuff, not only traditional microeconometrics, but I'm also going to include a broad overview and introduction of data science, particularly modern machine learning and machine learning methods from computer science and statistics. And I'm going to give you a unified introduction not only about microeconometrics, but about machine learning and about econometrics and how they tie together in a unified framework. Okay? So I'm going to give you a really broad picture, essentially, of what I call the data science, which includes computer science, statistics, and the traditional econometrics. So my goal is through this course, you can learn not only about traditional econometric techniques, but have a really solid foundation and understanding about data science today in general that really encompass many very different kind of disciplines, but they are moving together toward the same goal, very similar goals, as I will tell you later. Okay, so of course is in terms of its scope, it's pretty big. I want to give you a wide range of information in this course, and I will talk about what the requirements and what the topics are. But first, a little bit about how the course, what are the things that you need to do for this course. All right. So for the course website, this is our course website. So course material is basically on this website. Now, for those of you who are familiar with GitHub, right? With GitHub, you know that if you look at this, you know that this website is basically a page that is built on my GitHub repository, okay, on my GitHub repo. So all the course material is actually also on our course repo, which means that there are really two ways. There are two ways you can access materials on my course. The first way is to go to the website, okay? Go to the website and, no, not this one. Okay, all right, anyway. So the first way is to go to the website and, click on any slides, and you can see my lecture slides, right? The other way is to go to the GitHub. Sorry. Okay, go to the GitHub. And this is really the GitHub repo that contains everything. Okay, contains all the course materials I posted. In fact, because I'm always rewriting my slides. Okay, I'm always rewriting my slides, updating my materials. So oftentimes the slides on my course website is the latest version, but I don't say which version it is. So I actually recommend, if you know how to, basically I recommend you to basically clone this repo and sync it. Okay, just keep your repo syncing with mine. If you don't know what I mean, no worry. Our TA will give you an introduction during the review session and tell you how to do this. Okay, tell you how to do this. But that's not important. If you don't want to go to the repo, you can always go to the website. Now, there are two other websites to keep attention on. This one is the traditional Moodle website, right? This is the Xiamen University 网络教学平台, right? So this is the Moodle one. We will use the Moodle for our homework. So you will basically submit your homework on Moodle. Actually, oh, sorry. Where did it go? Okay. So let's go there. xmu.edu.cn, right? So this is the website we will use for homework submission. And let me click on that one. Yeah, let's browse here. Okay. Hello. All right, there we go. Okay, microeconometrics. Now, when you go search for this course, because I know you have all used this platform, right? So you're all familiar. So when you go search this course, you should go to WISE, okay, Wyoming Institute for Study Economics, 2018-19, microeconometrics, metrics. And there is actually a password. The password is Raven, okay, it's Raven, right, password. So we will use it for homework submission. I also put some data here, data sets here, and some books here. So if you go and take a look at the books, you already have some book material for this course. Okay, finally, there's one final website, which is Piazza. Okay, now I'm not sure how many of you have used Piazza, but Piazza is a place where we will use it for classroom discussion. So anytime you have any classroom, have any questions about the course materials. So in the past, what I do is I have WeChat, right? So we have a WeChat group. We're still going to have a WeChat group, but we're only going to use it for announcements. In the past, when people have questions, they would just write a WeChat or write an email to me, and A, B, C all have the same question, and I have to reply 3 times, 4 times. That's not efficient. Okay. So what I want you to do is, if you have any course-related questions, ask on Piazza, okay, which is like a forum. And anybody can answer. So you can answer other people's question, and if nobody answers, I will answer, okay? Or the TA will answer. So we'll use Piazza for classroom-related discussions, okay? Academic discussions. Now, how does Piazza work? Let me show you, okay? So view a real class. Right. So this is what a real, Piazza class look like. Anybody can ask questions, okay? So, so a student may ask a question that, why is this series divergent? Okay, is it convergent? Is it divergent? Right? So, this student asks this question, and then some other students can answer it, and and the instructor, right? The instructor can answer it. So, anytime you have questions about this course, I would recommend or highly encourage you to go to this forum. Use this forum for Q&A, okay? Question answer. All you need to do is basically go to this website, follow my link, and then register an account, and you can enter, okay? You can enter. In fact, I already have 3 polls there. I hope you go and answer the polls for me. I will show you later. Okay? All right. So, like I said, we have a teaching staff, which is me, and my name is Xiamen, and this is my office. This is my office hour. Typically, if you need to find me, I suggest you email me for an appointment rather than just come during office hours. This is my email. We have 2 assistants. Okay, we have 2 TAs. One is Wang Xiaoqing, which is already here. Okay, say hello to Xiaoqing. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Wang Xiaoqing, your TA of this semester, and I'm now a PhD candidate in economics, and now I'm in grade 4. Hope you enjoy this course. and let's go to study together.
Okay, thank you. The other one is Xiamen. So the reason why we have two TA is that we actually have 2 sessions, right? Session 1, session 2. So this is session 2, which is for undergrad. I'm also teaching session 1, which is for grad student or for master's student. The way I'm actually teaching the same material, but for the undergrad student, which for you guys, I'm going to go in a more shallow. I'm not going to go really deep, and then for the grad students, I'm going a little bit more technical. Okay, but if you you can go sit in any class if you wish. This class I will be using a lot of Chinese. This class will be doing English. Okay, so by regulation, right? By regulation. Okay. Now, like I said, in this course, I plan to offer you a unified introduction to a number of things. The first thing is I'm going to offer you an introduction of 2 parts. The course is mainly organized into 2 large parts. The first part is called statistical learning. Okay? So this part is actually more machine learning and statistics than traditional econometrics. The second part is called causal inference, which is about finding. So statistical learning is about finding pattern and predicting things. The second part, causal inference, is about finding about cause and effect. Okay? What is the causal effect of A on B? That's the second part. And that part is traditional microeconometrics is about. Okay? Traditional microeconometrics is about finding out the causal effect of A on B. That's the sort of like the traditional things that economists are concerned about. And I will give you a unified introduction and tell you how the 2 are linked together, okay, in a unified framework to help you understand how these different disciplines are together shaping up to what we have today, okay? And finally, in econometrics, you are undergrad, so you probably do not know, but for people who have done research economics, you know that there's a huge battle in econometrics between the so-called reduced form and the structural approach. These 2 are 2 different schools. They believe in different ways of doing econometrics. And there's a fierce battle in history about who is the better way of doing econometrics. And this course, I attempt to give you, again, a unified, coherent framework that tell you when do you do reduced form, when do you do structural, and their respective strength and weakness. Okay? So I'm going to give you a unified introduction to all 3 parts. Now, the goal of this course is to give you a solid theoretical foundation. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to give you a theoretical foundation. I'm going to give you a theoretical understanding because I don't care about. So you're not going to do a lot of, linear algebra and matrix operations and mathematics. You're not going to do too many of them. Okay? You'll see some of them, but not too many. The key is understanding. So I want you to have a really solid theoretical understanding about all these different topics, so that after this course, you really have a broad overview of everything. Okay, so that's really my goal. And then I'm also going to, hopefully, you can also master the tools to do empirical research. And by mastering tools, I mean the different methods we use, right? The different technologies, the different techniques, and the methods we use, as well as programming. Right? Programming is part of doing data analysis. Okay, so I'll talk about programming very soon. But this is our goal. We have tons of examples I've written that showcase how we use different methods in econometrics, okay, or data analysis. All right. In terms of course materials, there are really no textbooks. It's all my lecture notes. And actually, in addition to lecture notes, we will have additional materials if you want to learn more. So this is how the lecture looks like. All right. So so each lecture, right? So introduction, and then the first lecture. So I've already posted some, but this is not all. Okay, only the beginning. So this is the lecture, for example, foundations of learning. We have slides, which is the slides I've written, which is course materials. Now, if you want to learn more, okay. So after my lecture, so by the way, these are topics covered in this lecture. So these are all topics that I cover in this lecture. Now, if there are any topics that you think that I haven't really talked, in depth in class, and you really want to learn more yourself, and you have all the time in the world, then you can click on this link, which is called Notes and Resources, which give you additional materials you can read. Okay, you can read, right? Okay, we can read. So all these is available online, right? So we have courses. I picked some courses from Berkeley, Harvard, Stanford, and as well as some online materials that cover some parts of the materials I cover in this class, written in various ways. So if you're interested, you can always go more in depth yourself in learning more about various topics. Okay. All right. Now this is a very fast-paced course, meaning I intend to cover many topics. In fact, the last time I tried to do this course, Xiamen was my TA as well, and I didn't really get to do many topics because I taught too slowly. So this time I really want to go fast. Now, if I go fast, that means what? That means many topics I do not have time to go into depth. Okay, so I've written them on my lecture notes, and my lecture notes are probably written better for a one-year course than a one-semester course. So I don't have time. Now, which means that it's okay if you want to skip parts of the materials, but it's also okay if you want to read them yourself. Okay, it's how much you learn. Totally depends how much time you're going to spend. Okay, now I also recommend you. By the way, so because it's highly paced, fast-paced, covers a lot of ground, I highly recommend you to review the lecture before and after. Okay, that's my recommendation. I also highly encourage you to form some groups to study if you have, if you want to do so. In addition to course material, in addition to lectures, I also have weekly review sessions. So those of you who have taken my course know that, I like to have review sessions. So in the review sessions, we'll do a couple of things. The first thing is the TA will help you again review the materials, but the second thing is the TA will walk you through some of the programming examples in our course. Okay, the programming. Now, this course is it's a data analysis and econometrics course. It's not a programming course. So I'm not going to talk about programming at all in my class. All right, I will show you the examples, but how the example actually work in different languages, the TA will walk you through in this class. Okay, in this class. This is actually a good way to talk about programming requirement, right? I actually have no programming requirement, right? So you can use any language because I believe all of you have some programming background, right? Because those of you who have taken my course already has some MATLAB or R or whatever. So you have some programming. So I don't really require you to learn new stuff. Just use whatever you know. My expectation is you know some programming, okay? At least one, if you can, okay? Whether it's R or Stata or Python or MATLAB, it doesn't matter, okay? Try to at least know one, and then you can go through this course, just using the one that you're comfortable with. Hi. Hello? Hi. Yeah, good. Thank you. Okay. All right. So if you go to my lectures, okay, you see that the foundation of learning is a theoretical lecture. So there's only this topic and then some additional notes. But the lecture, for example, on regression, because we're actually doing some stuff, so we'll have to provide you with some codes, okay? So with R codes, Stata codes, Python codes. Now, my lecture is primarily written in R, but I've added some Python codes, I've added some Stata codes, but I really don't have time to write 3 copies of the same thing. So these are actually different things. I just throw in there. If you like to use R, you can look at the R codes. If you like to use Stata, you use Stata. If you like Python, you use Python. If you use MATLAB, I don't have it here, but you can use MATLAB, right? It doesn't matter. Now, okay, it doesn't matter. Okay. So, like I said, there are lots of materials, and there are all these different codes and the stuff. So you are not my goal is to give you enough materials you can work with, but you are not required to understand all of them. Okay. So how much you want to get out of this course completely depends on how much time you're willing to spend. If you do not want to spend any time, it's I guess it's fine too, because comes evaluation, okay? This course evaluation is actually pretty easy. I do not want to have exam, but by regulation, we must have exam. So I'm going to give you a midterm exam, a final exam, each worth 10%, okay? In fact, that's the minimum I can get. In fact, I can tell you that I probably want you to write the exam questions yourself, because I don't really care. The big part is the homework and the final project. Okay, the final project is going to be all of you write some kind of a paper, or a term paper, a small project that doesn't have to be high quality paper, but some kind of term paper, right? So I will give you the requirements later. Homework is 50%. What is homework? well, I'm not going to give you any homework question either. Okay, you write the homework. So what is the homework? Homework is also very easy. After each lecture, okay, after each lecture, right? So here's our lecture, right? This is a lecture, you know. This is a lecture, right? So these are different lectures. After each lecture, write a small report. Okay, write a small report. Right? It doesn't have to be. It's like a 1 page or 2 page. Okay, you don't have to write. It's like a 1 page report is fine. Write a simple report on what? There are several things. Okay, several things. First of all, you can write a report on a lecture-related topic. So, for example, suppose in my lecture I talk about Suppose I talk about maximum likelihood estimation. Now, you have heard of it, right? You know what the maximum likelihood estimation is. But suppose I really didn't go over in depth. Okay, I just mentioned it. Then you can just write a report. Okay, just write a page about explaining what maximum likelihood estimation is, and that's your homework. Okay, so pick anything I talk about in lecture, but I didn't really spend a lot of time on, and write a small report yourself about a concept. So this is one kind of homework. The second kind of homework you can do is pick any method I've talked about in class, and then find some data and just use it. Okay, use any method on some data, and show me the results. That's the second kind of homework. The third kind of homework is translation. So, like I said, my lecture example are mostly written in R. Okay, and I give you some other Python or data code, but the lecture examples are mostly written in R. Now, if you can translate them into MATLAB or Python or whatever, that's a homework. Okay, that's a homework, right? Of course, that also saves me some time because in the future I can just post that, right? So okay. All right. Now, you don't have to do your homework alone. Up to 2 people can do homework together. Okay. So 2 people. So I allow. Of course, you can still do it alone, right? But I allow 2 people to submit a single homework. So that's how it works. What if you say, I'm really not, I don't really have friends, okay? So I'm basically myself. I can only submit homework by myself. What can I do? Of course we can, okay? And we actually will grade them differently. So here's how it works. There are actually 2 sessions. There are actually 2 sessions, like there's a master's, right? You guys are undergrad. We are going to grade them on the same scale, okay? So meaning the TA will not really judge the quality of homework based on whether you're undergrad or master, 1 person or 2 people. The TA will just grade them blindly, okay? Which means that the master students may get higher grades than you guys, right? Because they are masters, right? Hopefully. If not, it would be very disappointing for them. But at the end of the semester, I will adjust the grades, okay? So I will adjust the grades depending on whether you're undergrad or you're master, whether you're 1 person or 2 people. I will adjust it. Okay, so undergrads, I will bump your grades. Masters, I will lower their grades, right? And 1 person, I will up your grades. 2 people, I will lower your grades. Meaning what? Meaning for undergrads like you do not have to do the same quality report the grad students do. That's really simple. And if you submit homework by yourself, you do not have to do as good a job as 2 people, right? So if you are 2 people working together, I expect you to give me a higher quality report. That's all it is. Okay, that's all it is. I hope that's fair, right? I hope that's fair. So like I said, if you want to pass this course, it's actually pretty easy. Just write a report for each lecture, and on any topic you want, do anything you want, as long as it's sort of within our guidelines. There's almost no exam. There's a final project, and that's it. Okay, so passing this course is easy, but how much you actually get out of this course completely depends on how much time you spend. Okay, all right. Finally Piazza. Finally Piazza. So we already talked about Piazza. The only thing I want to say is I hope to. So this is the first time I've used Piazza myself. So I really want to make it work. So I'm going to encourage you to really use Piazza for question and answer. So if you actively participate on Piazza, you will get 5% extra credit. Okay, that's it. By the way, if you ask questions on Piazza, you do not have to show your real name. Okay, so you can be anonymous if you want, right? If you don't want to let people know who you are. Okay, all right. I talk about I talk about the basic structure of this course, and the next question is, would you say suppose you say I want to learn more, right? where can I find more resources? Well, the first thing you do is to take a look at the syllabus. But actually, let me go here. All right. So like I said, there are no textbooks for this course, but there are a bunch of recommended reading that covers a lot of materials in this course. So, I think my lecture materials already have probably too much information. But if you still have time, right, there's a bunch of books that you can check out yourself. All these books with book website, right? It says book website means that you can go there and download a free copy. It's available for everybody. For those other books, you can check out our Moodle. Okay, you can check out Moodle. All right. So you can, so these are undergrad books. These are, graduate books that cover relatively, very similar materials we talk about on this course. Okay. Then if you go to the website again, and you click on resources. Okay. Now here in resources, I also listed some other things to help you if you need. Related course, okay? So related courses, some courses offered that covers similar or part of the topics in this course by some other institutions that have offered very nice materials online that you can read and basically study yourself. One of the most famous one is the Stanford CS229 machine learning course, okay, offered by Andrew Ning and another guy. And if you go there, okay. So this course roughly corresponds to our first half of this semester. Although I obviously cover it in a different way. All right. You can of course you can go to syllabus, which basically they also have very nice slides and notes and even videos. I believe they have videos too that you can take a look. If you want any more supplementary materials to what I talk about in class. Okay. The only thing I want to show you here is also just how amazing how many teacher assistants they have. Okay, so this is one, right? So they have a course coordinator, two professors, coordinator, and a whole bunch of teacher assistants. I wish I have that many, right? Okay, all right. Okay, so here I have a bunch of courses from machine learning to econometrics. And this course roughly spans the materials that all these courses might cover some of them. Okay? Now, like I said, you're not really required to learn any new programming language. Just use anything you are familiar with. But if you want to learn anything, right? If you want to, in case you want to refresh your knowledge or learn anything new, these are some materials for R, Stata, and Python, including R Markdown. I will talk about why we want to mention R Markdown here because that might be relevant for future homework. But these are some materials you can take a look if you want to learn programming or want to refresh your knowledge about different programming languages. Okay. All right. Okay, I think that's pretty much covered. Any questions? First one? No? Yeah, please.
The homework after the lecture. The lecture means a slide or just a course.
What do you mean by course? Like the entire course?
For example, in today is one course. And
one kind. No. After each.
Slide.
Yeah, after each slide, exactly. So so each one is a lecture. So after we finish each one, you write a small report. Not every week. Okay, not every week.
And the homework is we select one from the three.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you can do anything. You can write a report on a concept like a maximum likelihood estimation. You can apply the method to the data. You can translation. You can do any of the three. Just one is enough. Okay. Very good. Any other questions? Okay. All right. So the first thing I want you to do, because I know this is only the first class, and and some of you have not decided whether you want to take this course. So if you want to take this course, the first thing I want you to do after this course, okay, after this class, is to do several things. The first thing is go to this Piazza, register, and I actually have 3 posts there. I have 3 posts there. for you to answer. One poll is about what other courses you have taken before this course. I want to know your background. The second poll is what programming language you know. Okay, what programming language you know, you need to answer the poll so I know what everybody is equipped with. Okay. The third poll is about our review session time, because I'm considering Thursday evening and a Friday evening. So I want to pick one. Okay, Thursday evening, Friday evening. So go to Piazza, register, take the poll, and let me know whether Thursday evening or Friday evening, which one works better for you as review session. Okay. All right. Oh, and then you need to go to Moodle and also register Moodle. Okay, register Moodle. The password is Raven. Okay. All right. One final thing, people who have taken my course before know that I do not have a break. Okay, I do not have a class break. So we'll try to finish 10 minutes early without a class break. If you want to go to restroom, you can go anytime. That's always my policy. All right. Okay. Which means we're probably finishing at 4 o'clock today. Rather than 4:10. Okay. All right. So if there are no other questions, we can just begin. All right. Let's begin our introduction.